Okay, 11.8 is all about surface areas and volumes of spheres. So the surface area of a sphere is capital S for surface area equals 4 pi r squared, where the r is the radius of the sphere. So in example 1, find the surface area of each sphere. So in part A, S equals 4 pi r squared. So it'd be 4 pi times 8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 times 4 is 256. So 256 pi, you multiply that out and you get approximately 804.25 inches squared. Okay, part B, okay, it tells us that the circumference is 12 pi. Okay, so we're going to use circumference, the fact that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. So if it is 12 pi is equal to 2 pi r, we can divide both sides by 2 pi. The pi's cancel and you get 12 divided by 2 is 6. Cancel is equal to r. So the radius is 6, okay? So then that can help me solve for 4 pi r squared, just 4 pi times 6 squared. 36 times 4 is 144 pi. Multiply that together and you get approximately 452.39. Okay? Example 2, this is find the diameter of the sphere. So it tells you that the surface area is equal to 20.25 pi. And I know that surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared. So instead of capital S, I'm going to fill in 20.25 pi equals 4 pi r squared. I'm going to divide both sides by 4 pi. Okay, again, my pi's cancel. Okay, so 20.25 divided by 4 leaves you with 5.0625 is equal to r squared. Okay, take the square root of both sides and you get 2.25 is equal to r. Okay, but now you're like, well, Mrs. Akery, that didn't tell me what the diameter is. That just tells me what the radius is. Well, the diameter is 2 times the radius. So 2 times 2.25 gives me a diameter of 4.5 centimeters. There's your final answer. Okay. If I turn the page, now we're going to talk about volume. Okay, so the volume of a sphere, the formula, if you guys are getting confused by these formulas, there's not really a good way to explain it. I kind of explained the cone and pyramid ones as being 1/3 of the either cylinder or prism. Okay, but when we come to this, okay, it's just kind of a formula that we have to memorize and remember, okay? Most tests like SATs and things like that will give you a formula sheet with these volume formulas on it, but you have to understand what the different variables, I guess, like R, for example, what those represent. So it's pretty easy whenever we're talking about anything that's cylindrical or round. Okay, if R is in the picture, we're always going to be talking about the radius. So the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r squared, again, where r is the radius of the sphere. So in example 3, it says to find the volume of the soccer ball. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so what is the radius of this? It is 4.5, and I'm going to cube it. Okay, so whenever you take 4.5 times itself 3 times, then you can multiply by 4, divide by 3. Okay, you get, oops, I'm not ready for that yet. I get 121.5 pi. And when you multiply it by pi, you get approximately 381.7 inches cubed. Okay, so it says the surface area of a sphere is 324 pi square centimeters. Find the volume of the square. Okay, well, what I'm solving for is I'm solving for the radius. Okay, I'm missing the radius. That's what I need first. Okay, so surface area is 4 pi r squared, and I know that the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so let's figure out surface area. It tells me is 324 pi. Keep your 4 pi r squared. You're going to divide both sides by 4 pi, and that's going to give you 81 equals r squared. Take the square root of both sides, and you get 9 is equal to r. Okay, so r is equal to 9. Once I know that, now I can solve for my volume. So I have 4 over 3 pi 9 cubed. 9 times 9 times 9 times 4 divided by 3 gives you 972 pi. Multiply by pi and you get 3,053.63 centimeters cubed. Okay, and that would be your final answer there. Okay. Okay, so find the volume of the composite solid. So it's kind of hard to see what this is, so I went ahead and kind of outlined it here for your solution. Okay, what this is it's a cylinder, okay, but then it's almost like turned into a bowl, and I have this cutout of this hemisphere, okay, or a half of a sphere, right, within this shape. Okay, so how I'm going to solve this is I'm going to find the volume of the cylinder, and then I'm going to subtract the volume of the hemisphere. Okay, so the volume of a cylinder, remember, is capital BH. Okay, volume of a hemisphere would just be half of a sphere, so that would be 1/2 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Okay, well, the base of this cylinder is a circle. Okay, so that would be pi, the radius is 2 squared. Okay, so that's capital B. The height of my cylinder is 2. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract that from 1/2 of 4 over 3 pi 2 cubed. Okay, so from here, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 pi, minus 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 4, divided by 3, divided by 2. Okay, it leaves me with 16 over 3 pi. Okay, and if I want to write 8 as a fraction over 3, okay, in case you had to leave it in terms of pi, it would be 24 over 3. Okay, so I asked myself, okay, just multiply it by 3 and then put a 3 on the bottom. So 24 over 3 pi minus 16 over 3 pi leaves you with 8 over 3 pi. Okay, and if you were allowed to go ahead and multiply that through and you had a calculator with you, it would be 8.38. Okay, you guys might think, well, when am I not going to have a calculator? Okay, well, there is a section on the SAT that does not allow you to use a calculator, so you would have to be able to do this fraction work in your head. Okay, so if that's something that you need more practice on, you probably need to come talk to me about it, and I can show you more in detail how I did this. Okay, and also if you are interested at all in pursuing math or a science field and you're going to have to take math classes in college, I was not allowed to use a calculator at all in any of my classes in college. So just something to think about to make sure that you're not relying on that calculator too much and you can do it independently. Okay, so that is all the notes that you need for this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions and I'd be happy to help.